All right, guys, welcome to True Talk. We have a special guest with us today, Sierra Jones. How are we doing, Sierra?
I'm good. Glad to finally be here.
I know this has been like the whole the trip in the making. It's been a journey.
It has. It's been a journey. It's been rough.
Yeah.
But, I would canoe here if I had to. So we're good.
Well, you're finally here. I want to talk a little bit. You have a really cool story about this past year, which we'll get into in a minute. But real quick, want to get into your background and how you found Family First Life. So, where are you from originally?
I'm from Kentucky.
Okay.
Eastern Kentucky. So that's where I was born and raised. Southern chick.
Gotcha. Any sales experience prior to this?
Yeah. I started in about 2012 when I was around, I don't know, I can't do the math very well, but I was around 20.
Okay.
Something like that. And so I actually started for Aflac.
Okay.
And I started doing health and, different, accident and stuff like that for different businesses and
How'd
stuff.
you get into that? What attracted you to Aflac?
It was something that I wanted to do, something that would offer something to people that would help.
Okay.
And so something with purpose. I needed something with purpose, And
Gotcha.
so I went and got licensed to do that and started, and I drove all around, everywhere, cold calling in my car, just me in my car, driving around a bunch of little tiny small towns, little black holes in the world,
Nice.
and trying to talk to business owners. So I did that for a while.
Yeah. How long did you do that for?
It was maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I was like number one in Eastern Kentucky, for a year, and then life and start happening and stuff.
Yeah.
So a million different things, but I really wanted to offer people a variety.
Okay.
So that was my biggest thing was with that was, there was a lot of situations where I was like, this doesn't really help them.
Yeah. Because you had just the Aflac products,
Yeah.
right? Which, some of them are really good. We have Aflac, but if you only had one, it makes it a little difficult. So from there, where did you go?
From there, I worked at Baptist Health at the hospital. I did phlebotomy.
Really?
So I've always done like medical assisting. I'm a caretaker kind of person, so I've always done caretaking stuff. But I've always been really good with phlebotomy and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did that, and just all over throughout life, I kind of just did phlebotomy at multiple different clinics and hospitals.
Yeah.
So
You've always done stuff where you're helping people, kind of serving people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that come from?
Honestly, I think it's just my purpose. It's within.
Yeah.
I just know that I'm, what I'm here for is to help people. And I pray about it, and, God just leaves it on me, and, and it's more of he guides me to where I need to be and where I don't need to be, and, what works and what don't work without me having to force anything.
Right.
So
I gotcha. So when you got into phlebotomy, am I saying that right?
yeah, phlebotomy.
Phlebotomy. There
Yeah.
you go. See, I learned here on the podcast.
Yeah, you good.
When you got into that, did you leave insurance entirely?
No, not for a while.
No.
I did after about a year or so.
Yeah.
I started working really heavy hours at different, clinics and stuff I was doing all the testing and stuff for, addicts and stuff. So
Okay.
it got really busy, and
Yeah.
I had to make a choice, and I was more impactful on the side of working with addicts and stuff.
Yeah. You feel like you're making a bigger impact
Yeah, I was
there.
making a bigger impact there than I was just being able to offer Aflac, and then I had a lot of people that they didn't have the money to begin with to pay their stuff up front.
Yeah.
So, it was, so I started, I'm more so into phlebotomy.
Yeah.
I just kept doing that for a long time.
What was the most rewarding part of that job?
Well, the most rewarding part would be, having, addicts will come in, they'd be sick, and, and it's some of the best people you ever meet in your life.
Yeah,
because it's, with addicts, it's anybody can,
Right.
The best people in the world are. It's just a matter of, it's, they just need support,
Yeah.
So to me, it was, I seen them from start to finish. So they'd come in, and they'd be sick and, horrible. And then, you know, they would come in, you know, later on and they'd, you know, be like a whole new person.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, you know,
Wow.
and I could be like a support and talk to them and, you know, give them that like positivity and stuff that they needed.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them don't have that at all. So, you know, what little bit I could give them was significant, I felt like. So.
Once you went full-time there, or not full-time, but left the insurance deal, how long were you doing that for?
Well, over years, I mean, just, I mean, I don't know, the past, you know, 8 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Got it.
Yeah, just until, I think, 2021, which I'd started praying about it, and I felt like I was like, well, I'm supposed to be doing something a little bit more, because I had, you know, with phlebotomy, I started going to more of doing the paramed exams. You know, I got pushed to doing parameds, and then I was like, this isn't, you know, I'm not really, here I am.
Oh, so that's where you're going out to people's homes, or?
Yeah, that's where you're doing you're going to people's homes and doing their blood work for insurance companies and coverages.
Yeah.
And had a lot of people complaining about different things, a lot. And actually didn't put 2 and 2 together for a while, because I kept thinking, you know, that's not really fair that, you know, some of these people are really healthy and we're giving crazy rates.
Got it.
But, you know, I was something I prayed about for a long time. And then I'm a researching person. So I started looking online and stuff. And I actually, you know, came across Family First Life. So.
Oh, you did? So you were doing the paramed stuff and didn't feel as good about doing that as you did helping out addicts when, you know, at the hospital or whatnot. And that led you to us.
Yes.
Wow. So you got to see the other side of it, because, you know, we do 99% of our stuff simplified issue, right? We don't do much fully underwritten. And a lot of agents learn the hard way. You know, they come here, they start simplified, and they get real smart, and they go, I'm going to do fully underwritten because it's cheaper for the client. And then to your point, 9 times out of 10, the rate comes back, you know, different from what they were quoted. The client's upset. So you learn that by doing the parameds versus selling insurance that way. That's interesting. So then you research. What were you looking for insurance specifically, or were you just looking for something different?
I was actually looking into I wanted to do life insurance.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I became freakishly obsessed with me having my own life insurance.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, I really need life insurance. Well, I was given the ultimatum. Well, you can have life insurance or cable. And I'm like, well, I want life insurance. Like, cable's not going to do nothing for me. I ain't got time to sit and watch
You chose
TV
life
anyways.
insurance over cable?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't have time anyways. I got a million things to do all the time. I got small kids and stuff. So, I mean.
Did you meet with an agent?
No. That was my ex-husband had given me that ultimatum.
Okay, that was his ultimatum.
Yeah, that's his ultimatum.
Okay.
So, you know, for me, it was more important that my kids are okay.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean,
How many kids you have?
Everything can happen. I have 4 boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So, my oldest is 15. My youngest is 2.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
A handful.
It's all over the place.
Yeah. I hear you. So you did some research, came across us. What attracted you to Family First Life?
I started watching videos. You know, I first I seen Dave Wichard.
Yeah.
I started watching his videos, and I'm like, that's me. That's me. I feel the same way, Dave.
Yeah.
And I was like talking to the, you know, like this computer screen and stuff, and I'm like, I feel that, you know. And I could, you know, there was a lot that he was saying that I'm like, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I connected with that. And then I started just researching more. But it was actually, you know, videos of Dave. Well, of course, whenever I told anybody else what I was wanting to do, I didn't get I didn't get the support.
Really?
I didn't get, it was.
What'd you get?
I got a lot of, that's never going to work, you know, now you're going to, you know, be able to go out here and survive selling, you know, something. And so it was a lot of negativity.
Yeah, which happens a lot. I mean,
yeah.
Think about this. Probably someone watching right now is hearing that from, and it's usually the people close to you. It's usually family. It's usually people that have been in jobs for 40 plus years. They're miserable. But the thought of you doing something that's different than them, that, you know, you may or may not be successful at, it really threatens what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like they can't help themselves, right? It's like, that'll never work. I mean, I heard it when we first started, you know, 15 years ago. I heard it from everyone. It's a pyramid scheme. It's this. It's that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Whatever you're saying. Seems to be paying my bills, but whatever.
Yeah.
So did you dive right in, or did you kind of watch for a while?
No, I dove in.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go head first.
Yeah.
And
Did you still have a license at the time, or you did?
no, I had to renew, which then found out the time that I had to just completely retake the test. So before I reached out to anybody with Family First, I went ahead and did my course. And
So you got the license before you even reached out to us?
yes.
Wow.
I went ahead and made sure I knew, I needed money for this, I needed money for that.
Yeah.
I needed to be fingerprinted. I knew the process. I researched enough to know everything I need to do step by step. And I was going full force all the way in. So I'm one of those people that, there is no I don't know. It's we got Google, man. We're in the 21st century.
Right.
Like, try to find out. Try to do the work, do the research. Then if you can't find the answer, then reach out. But doing that research, you learn a lot more than just asking the question to somebody. So I did a lot of research on my own. And, so I had my license before I reached out.
Got it. Did you reach out to Dave directly?
No,
or?
I actually, I think I've reached out to Precious.
Okay.
Found her information and somewhere on the website, and I emailed. So I think I emailed inquiry or something.
Yep.
And
so Sarah was an agent inquiry. Wow. We learned
Yeah,
it. We
something
learned
like
it
that.
here on True Talk. I guess
Right?
the marketing works a little bit,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then we put you in touch with Dave.
I actually went under Ben Lowe.
Oh, okay.
So I went under Ben, which he was awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be this far if it wasn't for Ben. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And from Ben, then I went under Elvire.
Okay.
And Elvire's like, he's my favorite person. He's awesome too.
Yeah.
And so, now we're just like this big, awesome team of awesome people
Right.
that were fun to be around.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. What was that transition like? Because selling Affleck, it's very different products, right? A lot of like disability type stuff. Their cancer products huge, but ours is, especially then, predominantly mortgage protection, final expense. That's it. How was that transition for you? Was it simple, or did you struggle early on?
It was simple.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm a good people person.
Yeah.
I can read people. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
If somebody is, if there's a need for it, then, I'll go full force. If I really believe wholeheartedly that it's a good thing and it's beneficial to them. I've dealt with stubborn people my whole life. I come from a long line of truck drivers and hardworking people that they're not giving out their social.
Right.
Like, they ain't giving you their birthday. Like,
Yeah.
Stubborn people that won't listen to reason. So I'm like, I'm here to deal with the stubborn people. Like, I'm going to show you, like, yeah, you do need it. This is why you might need it. But I'm going to ask you, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to see what they need first and what they don't have, what they benefit from. So, for me, it was a simple thing because it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's going to be there, to help you so that when you can't work, you can still pay your bills, if you become ill, but it's also going to be there to take care of things so that your family, the people you work for, have a home, or, have things they need. And that's something I know a lot about. Nobody in my family ever had life insurance.
Really?
And I went to a lot of funerals. Everybody was on Social Security. As long as they had their beer and cigarettes, they were good, man. They were good. They didn't need, they just all believed it was too expensive. They all had that same thought process.
Yeah. When did you officially join us? What year was that?
I think it was 2021 because, around that time. Because I had seen there was a convention that was getting ready to go on maybe 2 or 3 days before I'd actually discovered some of Dave Wichard's videos.
Okay.
So, and I was like, dang it.
Oh, so you missed that one.
Yeah.
So your first event would have been 2022?
I think so.
Yeah. About making that sign, and what did you expect?
I had no idea what I was going to put on that sign.
Okay.
Actually.
Where'd you even get the idea to make a sign? Like, that was crazy to me because we started doing these lead giveaways, and I feel like we did one. Then the next time we did them, there was signs. Someone had a Wheaties box with Sean's, like, high school photo. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So when did you get the idea to make the sign?
Well, it was like, I don't know. It was after the first day of convention, I think.
Yeah.
And, it was one of those things. It was, I mean, I also wore a hot pink suit. So, like, I know, wear bright colors, do things to stand out, like, be creative.
Yeah.
You know, if it's all about just being the creative person. So, shoot, if I had to have, like, a big horn or something, like, oh, I would have done that.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, right. But I just kind of, in my mind, I was like, what can I do to get the most, like, attention on myself so that it's like, hey, Sean, pick me and watch what I can do.
Yeah.
You know, and I was terrified, though.
Really?
That's a big statement to make. That's not something you just write down and be like, I'm going to put this here.
Yeah, why'd you settle on that? Did you have any other ideas? Or?
I did, but that made me accountable.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I needed to stick it out. I needed to make sure no matter what happened that I was going to hit that. I was going to make that goal for myself, and I was going to do it. Because, you know, anytime that something has been, you know, something I didn't really want to do or this and that, I quit.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really, you know, I wanted to go to nursing school and tried to start that process, but I couldn't do the math very well. And I was like, nah, I'm good. You know, and I need to prove to myself that, you know, I could do it. I need that accountability because, you know, if you're going to make it that first year, I mean, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted myself accountable. And what's more accountable than being like, hey, Sean Mike, I'm telling you, if you give me money, I'm going to hit Hall of Fame. You know, like, I couldn't even show my face if I didn't do that, you know, the next year. And then Elvira was like, you know, jokingly, he's like, you know, if you don't hit it, you got to pay all that money back and leave. You know, and I was like, oh, man. And then I started, you know, and, it, you know, even though we're kidding and stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pretend like that's real.
Yeah.
You know, kind of brainwash myself. But
yeah. Were you surprised when Sean picked you?
Yeah, I was, because I don't get picked for stuff. You know, I'm not the pick kind of person. But, I mean, I was sweating, and I was standing there, like, on a chair in heels with, like, my arms, you know, up with this big sign.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I'm either going to fall on my face and get everybody's attention that way, or maybe I'll get picked. So, like.
You probably would have still received some leads if you fell on your face. I don't know if it would have been 10,000,
right?
But we would have felt bad. It just gave you something.
Just give something.
Yeah. So, Sean picked you. He gave you 10,000 in leads.
Give me 10,000 in leads.
What did that mean to you at that moment?
That meant I was going to be successful.
Yeah.
I was going to do it. I was going to complete it. I was going to, at that point, I had big dreams.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, all right, it's go time.
And prior to that, most families you helped in a year was about 200.
Yeah.
So you're looking to double that.
Yes.
So once you receive it, now it becomes real, right? It's one thing to make the sign. It's one thing to stand there. But then you get picked, and you're like, oh, wait, now it's time.
Now I got to do it. Yeah.
So, you know, leaving that event, first of all, prior to that event, now it's February, so it's, you know, a month and change in. Were you on Hall of Fame pace yet or no?
Absolutely not. No, I was more so working part-time.
Really?
Yeah. And if inconvenient stuff was happening, I mean, I was trying, but not as hard.
Yeah.
But once I made that, you know, declaration, if you will, in front of everybody, you know, if my kids, I didn't have anybody to watch them, they all packed up in the minivan. We're all going to run appointments.
Really?
Like I put DVD players in my car. Put the kids in, give them snacks, sippy cups, Happy Meals, whatever. They watch movies. I'd park where I could see the car, run the appointment. You know, be like face right in the window so I could see them. You know, couldn't hear them killing each other. That was all right. I didn't need all that stress.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And if you're going to, I mean, you're either going to make an excuse about it or you're going to be about it. I mean,
would you say 2023 was an easy year for you?
It was the hardest year of my life,
really?
Actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the hardest.
Why?
I didn't expect it to be as hard as what it was. So I went through a really bad divorce.
Okay.
Shortly after convention, I was married to someone very controlling, not realizing I'd kind of been in a I want to say like survival mode on my own. I really didn't think for myself at that point.
Okay.
Anything that would just avoid conflict, you know. So it was very controlling, money-wise. You know, I didn't really have my own decisions and you know, yelled at for nothing all the time and stuff. So when I was working, after, you know, convention, I started working a lot. I started really trying to go full force, and the more that I did, the more it felt like the tighter the noose got around my neck, you know. And so I had to start, you know, going seeing a secret, you know, therapist and stuff. Start putting money back. I ordered some books, you know, how to, you know, get out of my situation with a narcissist, and you know, making myself realize I wasn't crazy was a big thing. You know, narcissists, they make you think you're the crazy one,
right?
And you know, so
did you think that for a while?
Yeah,
yeah,
I did. I did, and because I'd listened to it for so many years.
Yeah.
And
how long were you married for?
We were married for 7 years.
Wow.
We were together for, you know, 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, every little thing's kind of a blow up, big anger thing, and you can't have all of that when you're trying to, you know, have positivity, joy, you know, and so that became very miserable because I had to save and get out of that.
Yeah.
But what got really bad is that he was very spiteful. So, you know, if I tried to go run appointments and it was my time with the kids, he would call and have welfare checks done just because so I wouldn't be able to work.
Got it.
He knew I was running big appointments. He'd make sure that something would happen to where I couldn't. He'd track the kids' phones. He'd have the kids telling him stuff, you know, every little thing, the kids recording things. I mean, anything that could inconvenience. So it'd constantly take me to court all the time if he lost. And, you know, so it was a nonstop battle from there.
This was all in last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you maintain positivity, like, with all this happening? Because, I mean, like, you know, the happy ending is you ended up hitting Hall of Fame. You helped over 400 families. You achieved what you said you were going to do. But what was it that kept you on that track, you know, going through all this all year long?
I had to pray a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I really had to pray about it because at the end of the day, one thing I knew was that if I was always doing what was right, you know, if I was always going in helping people and, you know, doing what was best for the client and, you know, going above and beyond. If I was doing that, then I knew that God would take care of me and I'd be okay. And there are some times I hid in my closet and I cried, you know. I mean, there were times I was terrified, you know. You go years and be told that you can't make it on your own, and then you're trying to make it on your own, you know, and then, you know, challenges start happening and you get a little terrified, you know, especially when you're supposed to be taking care of, you know, you got, you know, 4 boys that depend on you and no family, no support around, you know, it's so it is not easy. It is not, but it's doable. It's a lot of prayer.
Right.
It's a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be where I'm at without the praying. Because I was like, God, I'm gonna need you right now. Right now would be a great time. I really, really need it. So that would be a thing. And then the positive podcast. I listen to a lot of Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's great. Yeah.
He is so good. I mean, it is. If ever you need just that motivational push, man, he's good.
Yeah.
I really got through a lot with that. And then True Talks podcast. Finding people that you have similarities with, that you can, you know, resonate with. So they've kind of gone through some of the same stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, going through all this all year long, did working help? Like, you know, because there's always 2 schools of thought. There's people you meet where they go through stuff and they shut down, right? I can't work. I can't do this. I can't do that. And for me, I don't think that's the right answer. I think, now it's not easy, but like you said, you were always trying to help people. You always keep, like, did that help you kind of keep your mind off of things?
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, I decided, I was like, you know, I could live the rest of my life just focusing on helping people, doing this, you know, pushing myself more, taking care of the kids, you know, and I'm like, I just needed peace. That's all I wanted, you know, just peace and just to be able to, you know, dig myself into deeper helping people. And, you know, for me, that is what it kept my mind busy, kept me going. You know, if I'm getting out and if I got time to do something, you know, I'm not going in to shop at TJ Maxx or something. You know, I'm like, no, if I got time for that, I'm door knocking. You know, because those are the people that might really need to see you.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Now, did you prep your kids for this year, like knowing that, because you said you throw them in a minivan, go on an appointment, which is not what most kids do, right?
Right.
Did they understand the goals that you had and how important that was to you?
No, not
No?
really. No.
No?
No, I mean, I tried to explain it, but, they're just going to have to see on their own.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else. There's some things, sometimes you got to work in silence, man. Just let them figure it out. They'll see it. And, but I couldn't no longer put my kids in a minivan, though.
Right.
And leave them on their own because I'd sure have, gone to jail or like lost them or something. Because it made everything more difficult whenever you're dealing with somebody that's like looking for little things to get you it.
Right.
So it was like, crap, I mean, like my hands were so tight, it felt like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, no, I got this. I just got to be more creative. Like, what am I going to do to get around that?
Right.
So.
Were there points in the year where you thought, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to hit Hall of Fame, I'm not on track? Did that ever set in or no?
No.
No?
Because when I tried to tell myself that, like, another stronger voice was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Even when I tried to be negative to myself, I don't know if I watched too much. I don't know what I did.
Well, it ain't too much. It worked.
I must have because, like even whenever I would get to that point, and I'm like, okay, is this going to happen? Then it was, this voice, I just got a stronger voice. It was like, you can do it. You're fine. Just go out. That's all you got to do. Trust the process. Go out.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. You'll be fine.
Well, it just goes to show you how powerful self-talk is. I mean, everything you read, it's like the voice listens to most is yourself. And if you're saying negative stuff, you're going to believe it. And if you continue to pour in positive, like to your point, that positive voice will overpower the negative. But you got to work at it. I mean, like you said, you listen to tons of podcasts, you're reading books, you're putting stuff in there. And now you hit Hall of Fame like the last week almost. Like it came down to the wire. Mm-hmm. What was that when you got the note? Well, first of all, how'd you find out? Was it leaderboard? Did Ed give you a call?
No, it was Elvira.
Elvira told you. Okay.
And I was like, really? Did I do it? Really? No. But I had been focusing more on, over the past couple of months before that, I started focusing more on helping people set up retirements, doing retirement planning and helping them, roll over money into, fixed index annuities. That was something I started seeing that I was like, okay, these people are like, they got all kinds of money indexed and stuff. They're losing and paying these fees and this and that. And I'm like, wait, this is way more beneficial for them,
Right.
So when I seen that, it was like, okay, well, this is very beneficial. I can, help with this a lot too. But Elvira is the one who, he told me, he texted me. And it was awesome. I was like, yes, heck yeah, And but it was exciting. It was really exciting because it was like I knew that if I hit it this year of all years, when everything was against me, when every person, every support, every every family member, there was nobody who other than like Ben, Elvira, like Dave, there was nobody else that had anything positive or good to say.
Really?
And like my parents, everyone was very, very negative.
Yeah.
And when you go through that, then you get a bunch of challenges.
Yeah. It makes you question yourself, right? Like if everyone's saying this, part of you's like, is it true? You know?
Yeah. And it's like, but then I look at it and I'm like, wait a minute though. Like, I've heard with the people who've done this, and I see this. I see how they're doing, and I see that it works.
Yeah.
And then the people who say it don't work, and I see how they are, and I'm like, I want that 9-to-5 life. I ain't trying to do all that. I mean, because I'm not going to get my purpose fulfilled by, working at the dollar store or something. It's not going to do the same thing.
Right.
So.
You feel like you were called to do this?
Very much, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Even if I go into somebody's house and I walk out and I haven't put them in anything.
Yeah.
If I have brought them some positivity or showed them, like that God's watching out for them and showed them like God's love and that there's good people here and, if I've made some type of impact on them, even just give them conversation. I think that was what I was meant to do. And, that was, I think that me being called, to give people, my unbiased, best, this is what would be better for you. And not let it be anything to do with, money driven.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
And, that's something that, there's times where, you might have to pray on that harder than others. I mean, if you're kind of freaking out, like, I got all this going on. But, it's a calling. If it's, God gives us, we all have a gift. So it's like, what Steve Harvey says, like the thing you do, the best with the least amount of effort or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I'm good talking to people. I'm good at like helping people, like, but I loved it. I do it from the heart. Like the old lady that, needs a ride in the wheelchair, like down the street, I'm going to do that. Like before I'm even asked to do it, I'm that person. So, yeah.
So what were some of the biggest changes you made to hit Hall of Fame? Because you got the lead credit, but let's be honest, 10,000 in leads is not enough to cover your whole year. It's a good help. It's a good boost, but you doubled the amount of families you protected last year. What were some of the biggest changes you made? Was it scheduling-wise, mindset? Like, how did you do that?
Mindset, definitely mindset thing. I went everywhere. So if they didn't answer the phone, oh, all right, well, I'm coming to your house. Yeah. Like I door knocked all over.
You didn't do that prior?
I did a little bit, but not prior, not as much.
Not as intentional.
Not as intentional.
Yeah, some people, I door knocked, like, okay, you door knocked on like 2 houses because you had a no-show, and then you went to McDonald's or you went to, got a coffee or something, went to your next appointment, stop. You didn't go out and knock on,
right.
15, 20 doors or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you were very intentional about that. So increased activity.
Yep.
And it's like, it always falls back to 2 things, attitude, activity.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the attitude activity that it takes to help 200 families is a little different than what it takes to help 400.
Right.
And I think, part of it, not to put words in your mouth, but you made your goal public. So it's kind of hard to back down, right?
Yeah, that'd be humiliating.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I didn't make it. That'd be.
Was that a big driving force all year long?
Oh, yeah. It's a huge driving force. But, and then, like, I think door knocking's fun.
Really?
I actually enjoy the challenge. To me, it feels like Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that maybe it's not how everybody feels, but to me, I'm just like, you don't know what's on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Not knowing. And you're getting to, meet somebody, new and this and that. Well, and I kind of make my own little, I'm very creative. So like, if they seem like they're aggravated about me knocking or like ringing their doorbell 10 times or something, cause I'll keep on and on. I will like, kind of like do like a fake laugh, like laugh at myself. Yeah. Yeah. I like to like that. So, or like I'll trip into a bush or something. So, just
you've done that. You've tripped into a bush.
I'm sorry. I just fell in your bush. Whatever it takes to kind of get, just.
Is that the craziest thing you've done at the door? Trip into a bush? No. What's the craziest?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I'd have to. Well, let me think for a minute. I would say that I helped a lady move her living room around.
Really?
Yeah. She had half of a couch sticking out of her front door.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, I'm rearranging my living room. This is a horrible time. I'm like, I know, I came to help you. And I just picked up the couch and just started helping her. And I just like moved it around and stuff. And I'm like, now that looks great.
Nice.
And like, it was forever. We were like 15 minutes into it. And she was like, who are you? And I'm like, hello.
That's awesome.
It was good. So.
Yeah. That's a little safer than throwing yourself into a bush. So.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, this, great story, very inspirational. And it just goes to show you, one more, more proof of whatever you put in here is what you get, and don't limit yourself. Like I love, the convention theme this year is limitless. Don't limit yourself on what you can do because you proved that in just a year by changing a few things. Like you didn't overhaul everything. You didn't have a brand new sales presentation or some new sales technique that helped you. You just worked on this a little more and had more activity.
Yep.
Not say just, but it with small tweaks go a long way in this business. We like to end, Sierra, with some fun stuff, okay?
Okay.
So these questions have nothing to do with life insurance, nothing to do with your past year, just a few random questions that I'm going to pick from a list here. Here's a good one. What superpower would you want if you could have any in the world?
Healing.
Healing.
Yeah.
Yourself or others?
Others.
Yeah, that's
I want to
awesome.
heal people. Yeah.
If you could redo one event in your life, what would it be?
Ooh, one event. Oh man, I wouldn't do none of. I wouldn't. I can't.
You wouldn't?
No.
Yep.
Because I had to learn all that hard stuff. I had to do it to get to where I'm at. I
Right.
mean, it ain't. There's no easy way. There's no pain-free way to
Right.
get to. So I mean, I would take out one of the qualities that make me who I am that makes it work. So,
Absolutely. Are you into music?
I mean, a little bit.
A little bit?
I listen to a little bit.
All right. If there was only one song you had to listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, really? Okay. All right. So, that would be. Really, all right. We're gonna go with "Let's Go Girls," Shania Twain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know. I know Shania Twain. I don't know much country, but we'll go with
it's
it.
Great.
There you go.
I just ride around my pink Jeep and just crank that up and
with your pink suit and
my
your pink
suit,
planner
the
over
pink
there.
planner, all
Yep.
pink everything.
Last
Just,
thing,
yeah.
any advice to someone going to the next convention on what they should do to get free leads?
Man, I would use Christmas lights. Like that's what I would do. Be creative, think outside the box. Try to get some lead money. Get up there in the front. Make yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And really take in what the speakers are saying because they all bring something different. And they all have so much insight into what it takes for different things. So even though there's people, they have nothing to do with our industry and what we're doing, it's like their mindset, their creativity and stuff. Like it's like, oh wow, like I need to start thinking like that. I could do this or that, and it makes a world of difference. So convention is something that I think all people need it.
Absolutely.
When I was going to convention last year, I almost didn't make it because I couldn't take my suitcase, and the flight almost got canceled because there was an ice storm. And so I went to convention with no suitcase and almost no money, too, because just how things were playing out. But I was like, I know I'm supposed to go. Like, I feel it pretty hard, especially, like, when the devil's hitting you real hard, like, you're supposed to do it.
How'd you get the pink suit then with no suitcase?
Well, I went to Target.
Oh, you bought that there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to the littlest Target that they had there. They didn't have a whole lot of options.
So the pink suit wasn't even planned. You got that there.
No, I just got it there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be bright and shiny.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a pink suit, not that pink, in my suitcase, but I had to leave everything.
Wow.
I was like, man. So, yeah, I had to actually go and get some stuff whenever I got there.
Well, it paid off. So, hey, congratulations. Great job last year. Let's do even more this year. I appreciate you coming in and sharing this, even though it took you a long time to get here, but it was worth it. And, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, like, share this with somebody you know could use it, and stay tuned next week. We'll see you right back here on True Talk.